Welcome back to the State and Local Sports Show here with Mark Tennis, the co-founder and editor of CalHighSports.com. We're at the very end of high school sports season here in Stockton. Tracy High Baseball making its first ever trip to the section finals against Elk Grove, which is meanwhile looking for its second straight title and 10th overall, a record among large school teams in the Sac Joaquin section. That's at a Klein Family Field at Pacific, 7 p.m. Friday, 10 a.m. a new start time on Saturday as they battle these disgusting triple-digit temperatures. Elk Grove, looking at Tracy's opponent, first of all, Mark, how do they compare to some of the perennial powers across the rest of the state? It seems like they're there every year, and this year, Dylan Carlson, son of Jeff Carlson, the coach, a huge power prospect, could be a second or third round MLB draft pick.
Elk Grove is definitely comparable to a lot of teams around the state. They have 9 losses, which is a lot, but they are from a league that was very good this year. You know, Davis, which I believe was third and fourth in their league. Davis was the NorCal Boris Classic champion, played for the state championship, but then they had a hard time in league. They have Matt Manning over at Sheldon, supposed to be a very high draft pick, also from the same league. Jesuit had a very good team this year. Jesuit had a win over De La Salle. So, it was a very good league. So even though they have 9 losses, I think it's a little deceiving. And I think Elk Grove, given the history, is the favorite. And they do compare very favorably to the rest of the state. Just this year, they probably have a few too many losses to be in the top 5 or the top 6. But, if it were playoffs, they'd be right there with everybody else.
Now, Tracy faced Elk Grove in the Boris Classic, which is kind of the equivalent to a state playoff tournament now earlier this season. Extra inning home run from Cameron Hoff won Tracy that game. Tracy did slip a little bit in league play. They finished third, number 6 seed, maybe the toughest number 6 seed in the Division I South bracket we've seen. Like I said, it's their first ever section finals. Their coach, Vic Alkire, is 72 years old. It is his 23rd year coaching Tracy, a place where he attended school and played himself. And Mark Tennis was the former sports editor at the Tracy Press. When was that, and what was your recollection of how Tracy High Baseball was at that point? Because they don't have this decades and decades long history of being championship contenders.
No, they don't. They were competitive, a few games here and there when I was back there in the early 80s, as a sports editor of the Press. I'd say the thing I remember most of all about Tracy baseball was one game going to watch them play, and they were playing St. Mary's, and St. Mary's had Ed Sprague at the time. So that's how far back it was. And Ed Sprague was playing for St. Mary's, and I remember him playing a game in Tracy, and I actually covered it as the sport. So that's kind of gives away my age. But that's probably my number one recollection. And I'll probably be trying to go to at least one of the games over there. And it is always special to see Tracy teams play. And I've gotten to know Coach Alcar a little bit from actually, his son coaching football in the Lions game and some other stuff and over the years. And he's definitely a joy, and it would be great from that sense to see if Tracy can pull off this win. I wouldn't say it's a huge upset because they beat Elk Grove in the one game before, but with Elk Grove's tradition and everything they've got going for it, and for Elk Grove, the bracket they had to survive to get here, they're Elk Grove, regardless of losing that one game, is still the favorite.
Now, the Warriors and Cavaliers NBA Finals rematch begins tonight, about an hour and a half after we're done recording this podcast. Just earlier this week, I think 3 days ago, The Ringer, which is Bill Simmons' the website, just launched, including a long profile about Chino Hills boys basketball, the consensus national number 1 this year, state open division champion, and how the Ball family, of course, the 3 players on the team this year, dad and AAU coach, I think mom was a basketball player at Cal State LA as well, how they're kind of trying to revolutionize the game, even beyond what the Warriors are doing, talking about we'd rather take uncontested 35-foot threes than shoot from 20 feet with their hands in their face. The coach, the dad, even kind of scoffs at being compared to the Warriors in the article. I wish I was compared to the Warriors. You've seen Chino Hills firsthand. Is Lonzo Ball, his brothers, and that style enough to maybe change the Pac-12 when they're all at UCLA? Lonzo's head in there. The other 2, I believe, are verbal commits to go there.
Yeah, we got a long ways for that to happen, and they may not ever play because, Lonzo will be at UCLA next year, and his youngest brother will only be a sophomore in high school. So they will, assuming Lonzo is going to do as well as we think he's going to do at UCLA, he may only be there 1 year. And so they may not ever play together again. So you have to keep that in mind. Secondly, if Chino Hills' 35-0 record is greatly celebrated and deservedly so, it was based a lot on three-point shooting, but you have to give a lot of credit to the big 6'10" freshman they had in the middle, because he was a huge difference in a lot of their games. He enabled them to get a lot of rebounds, second chance shots, and all kinds of things. So he was a big reason they won. And just the three-point shooting, to say they won just based on that, I think there was so much more that went into it than just that. And they had a lot of close games. It's not like they won all these games, by 30 points. They had a lot of close games. The thing that stood out most of them to me wasn't the three-point shooting, but was just how calm and cool and collected they were in pressure situations. Kids don't do that like they did, and especially Lonzo, Jello, and Melo, the 14-year-old playing as well as he did. He's the one who's probably going to end up being the one most compared to a Steph Curry, the way he shoots and the way he shoots from 35 feet. Lonzo is more of a great point guard. His 80-foot outlet passes and just everything that he does is not just the assists are what stand out as much about Lonzo as the scoring. So I don't know if they're really revolutionizing the game. I think the Warriors clearly are the ones revolutionizing the game. And Chino Hills was a great team and a great story, but revolutionizing the game, we'll have a ways to go for that.
Now, Mark Tennis does a weekly column for us for The Record and StocktonPreps.com, talking a bit about the CIF State Track and Field, which is championships, which is this week in a scalding Clovis on Friday and Saturday. Talk a bit, if you don't mind, about your column, your thoughts on the event in general.
The CIF State Track Meet is really perhaps the arguably the best, the one place over 2 days in the whole country in any sport where the best athletes are going to be. Because in California we have no divisions in track and field, so it's the best of the best. Plus the kids have to compete on 2 days in a row in this event. You have to, if you're a sprinter like Dion Collier from West High School in Tracy, he's going to have to run the 100 and the 200 in the qualifying on Friday, and you can't loaf. You can't just cruise to qualify. You've got to go all out to qualify, and then you've got to come back the next day and actually be in the 100 in the finals, if you get that far, in the 100 and the 200. So when kids do a double in the state track meet and some of these events, it's just amazing how they're able to do it, because it's hard. And the competition is second to none. We'll have some of the best athletes in the United States will be in this event. Michael Norman of Vista Murrieta is probably the most talked about track and field high school athlete in the country. He was there last year, had a great show, and I'm sure everyone's going to be showing up to see him again. Of course, it's going to be incredibly hot. It might be 107, 108. They moved the start times back later in the day. But I know there's some reporters have had their computers practically melted sitting there, and it's just, that's the bad part. The good part is the competition and the tradition and everything. This is the 98th state track meet, 98. So 2 more to go to 100. The only reason it's not 100 now is because they took 4 years off for World War II. So it's great. It really is something great. If anybody should go to an event once or twice in their life, that's one of them.
Well, one of the top local competitors is Dion Lightfoot Shelton from Kimball, a junior. He's in his 3rd straight trip to state. He won the section title for the 2nd consecutive year in the 110-meter high hurdles at 13.87 seconds. That was a meet record, the 2nd best time in section history. And, if he were to be able to win a state title this year and do it next year as a senior, he'd be the first area athlete to win 2 or multiple state championships, I believe, in track events. We had Brittany Daniels from West win, I think, a long jump in 2003 and 3 triple jumps from 2003 to 2005. So that has been done before, but he is in rare air. Now, earlier this week on Memorial Day, Manteca Baseball won its 2nd section title in 3 years. It was a 100th career win for Coach Neil McDonald. And I know for you, Mark, that could mean something larger for Manteca as an athletic department in general.
Yeah, at this time of the year, we're also looking at schools for candidates who are going to be chosen as state schools of the year in various different categories. Manteca would be in Division III, and of course they already have a state basketball championship in Division III on their resume, and they won the girls soccer section title as well. So as you get deeper and deeper, when you win section titles and add to some of the things you've done earlier in the school year, it can really add up. I mean, I haven't checked through the whole state, but congratulations to Manteca on a great school year from everything they've done. I can't recall any sport where they've really were weak in anything. I mean, I can think of girls basketball, I think of football, I can think of a lot of different sports that they were, even though maybe they didn't win state or win section, they were very good.
All right, CaliSports.com, the Gold Club membership, state record books, all of your insider content, less than $20 a year, less than $2 a month. Mark, thanks for joining us. As always, enjoy whatever you partake in this weekend.
Thanks, you too, Thomas.